Hello and welcome to Taco Tuesday. Today is June 16th, 2026, and today's actually the last Taco Tuesday for this fiscal year. So we're going
Hey.
to uh, we're going to be joined by several of our vendor partners today to talk about the resources that they have on offer for our members. And I'm joined today first by Amy Shelton, who I think is here to talk to us a little bit about library help. Amy, I'm going to stop sharing my screen
Okay.
so that you can take over.
All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right. So I should be sharing my screen. Let me get started with my PowerPoint here. All right.
Looks good.
Yep, you're able to see that now?
Yes, indeed.
All right. So I am Amy Shelton. I am the CIO of Nub Games, which is the company behind Library Help. Last Taco Tuesday, which was that I attended, was in December. And in that, I gave a broad overview of what Library Help was. And I briefly mentioned that we had a brand new module in the works. At that time, it was in beta testing and it was called Tickets. And so I promised at that time that I would have more to share soon. And uh, as of this Taco Tuesday, officially soon has arrived. So today I'm going to give you a tour of Tickets. That's Library Help's new help desk module. It's available right now for trial and for purchase. And actually, rather than bore everybody with static text on slides, I'm going to actually show our product in action. So, everybody cross your fingers because like, the dreaded demo goblins might get me. But I want to show you what it looks like and then in action. And I want to talk through briefly some real world library examples to help kind of wrap your mind around what this new module can do for you. All right, so quick refresher of what Library Help is, because I know not everybody is a Library Help subscriber, and maybe this is their first time hearing about Library Helps. So let me sketch out what our platform does. So we basically help libraries manage patron communication and help patrons online. And so many people know us for chat. That's what we've been doing for over a decade now, along with some other modules, but which are 3Mail. It's for shared email management. We have a knowledge base for FAQs. We have sharing tools, which are used in both the email management and during chat for snapshots and screen sharing. But like I said, today we're going to focus on the newest of our modules, and that is tickets. So where does tickets fit into what I just went over? It's one of the most important things to understand about this new tickets module is that it's not trying to replace any of the other library help tools that have been around now for quite a while. It fills a completely different role. So chat is where you give immediate help to your patrons. Patrons chat with you on your website in real time. And then FAQs are basically self-service. Patrons can find answers to commonly asked questions on their own. And then 3Mail, our email module, helps with communication. It's a shared email inbox model. It helps you coordinate emails with patrons. And then tickets is basically it's you're managing your ongoing requests. These are patron requests that aren't quickly resolved and they need coordination. And you can think of it this way, chat helps you answer questions now, but tickets help you manage questions all the time. And that's really the core idea with tickets. So imagine that somebody walks up to your reference desk. You know, chat is wonderful. Uh, and in fact, it's our most popular module, but in this situation, and not every interaction happens in real time. So this person walks up to your reference desk. They need help locating some historical information for a local research project. And you know that you're not going to be able to solve that in 5 minutes. So, maybe you have to pull in somebody from archives. Maybe you got to follow up with this patron next week. Maybe the patron comes back later on at another time and sends you additional information through email. And maybe eventually, by the time it's all said and done, multiple staff members become involved. So that's exactly the kind of request that Tickets is designed for. So if you've ever looked at your shared email inbox and wondered, did somebody reply to this? Is somebody working on this? Is it done? Can I archive this? These are the kind of problems that Tickets is designed to solve. So now let's look at the module itself. So there's several ways, before I dive in, there's several ways that you can create tickets. And that is guests can submit tickets through web forms. Guests or staff can send in emails to create tickets, or your staff can create tickets directly with manual entry. And that last option is particularly useful when you have phone calls or walk-up interactions at the desk. So somebody calls your circulation desk with a complicated account issue, you can immediately create a ticket and then begin tracking that request. So with that being said, let's create a ticket together. All right, so this is the tickets. This is that manual ticket creation I was talking about. So uh, you can say the patron has a complicated account issue, needs help. And you can choose your queue. That's basically the set of users that are going to be able to see this ticket. And this is the circulation desk. And we're going to assign it to our circulation. And then the guest name is Sally user. And it's Sally user. We'll say it. Fake.com. I hope that doesn't really exist. And it's a complicated account issue. And then we just create the ticket. And then there we go. And you can see it in this, it shows up here in this overall list of tickets. So now let's pretend that's one way of getting it in manual entry. So now let's pretend that we're a patron and we have these things called guest forms. And I've created an Ask a Librarian guest form here. And you can embed it several different ways. But one of the ways you can do it is a link. So right here is a link to my test form. All right, so here's my Alaska Librarian. So test form. So uh, I'm John Doe. I can't connect to resources off campus. Help. And I can submit it here. Oh, sorry. I didn't even fill out my form correctly. It was John Doe. All right. Now I submit it. All right. So they received our submission. And all these, of course, all these screen sharing tools are, there we go. So now I have two tickets. I have the first one that I created manually, and then I have the second one here that came in through the guest form. And so the main thing with all of this is to notice that we're not forcing libraries into a single intake workflow. You can choose your intake workflow, or you can mix and match workflows that wherever fits for your. Let's look a little bit more at this ticket management view. This is where staff is going to spend most of their time. And when you look over these screens, we've designed it around basically the question, like if I came back in 2 weeks as a librarian, would I know what's happening with this request? And everything on this screen is kind of geared toward that, especially open tickets at a glance. This is where you can kind of get a bird's eye view of what's going on. You can see unclaimed versus claimed tickets. You can see by queue. You can get breakdowns by user. Over here in the corner, you can see the median age, the oldest ticket, the most stale. So this is all about giving you, visibility into what are your open tickets and what's going on here. And then this is your detailed breakdown. You can look at things by status, by queue, by staff, by guests, summaries of the subjects. You can add tags, and you can also see when they're last updated. So, and all of this, like I said, the goal is, can you looking at these screens, has the patron got the help that they need? So let's talk a little bit about some collaboration tools. So we have Sally right here. And this is Sally's ticket that we created manually. She has a complicated account issue and needs help. Here as a staff member, I can email Sally as the guest, but I can also do this update ticket. And here, these are private and internal notes for staff only. So here you can have you can have a discussion among staff members that the patron will never see. And you can add tags to it if you want. You can say it's an account issue, and you can say it's in progress. And you can save that. So now you can see the original submission, and you can see this this message here about it being discussion, and that is keeping track of you can help keep track of things and coordinate with staff. So the one thing I wanted to talk about too is if you're a larger library in this update ticket, you can do things like transfer queues. So say this is no longer a circulation issue. It becomes an IT issue. You just simply change the queue and boom, you've transferred it between queues. So the idea in all of this, and it's also threaded, you can see threaded discussions here. The request can move through the organization without losing context. Everybody's going to see the same history. Everybody's going to know what's already happened. And that's really a huge improvement over, forwarding emails around and having everybody stays in sync, and that history is retained from email to email. It's even an improvement over our 3Mail module where the history is in one place, and you're using custom tags in your workflows. Oop. Back to my PowerPoint. So here we've already covered the team collaboration. You got the staff only notes, queue transfers, you got shared ticket history. I can see I'm already running short on time, so I think I might skip this and talk about there are some options with Library Help. So if you're already a Library Help subscriber, you already have the core Library Help subscription. You can add on tickets to this, or you can opt to get tickets by itself. We're offering a ticket solo subscription. We have pricing estimators online. And if you are interested in a free trial, we're offering that. If you're already a customer, give us an email, send us an email to support, and we will get you set up with a free trial of tickets. If you're a brand new customer to Library Help, there is a 90-day free trial. We can kick the tires on all of the modules, including tickets. And if anybody has any questions, we're available at support@libraryhelp.com. We have a phone number, 877-844-5371, and you can look at our website at libraryhelp.com.
Amy, thank you so much for showing us around the new module. I think it's a awesome next step for the Library Help suite. I think an excellent new benefit. Yeah, I will encourage all kind of WiLS members. If you're already a subscriber, you should definitely check it out. But if you want to know more about Library Help and what it can do for your library, I hope you'll reach out to us here at WiLS or out to Amy at the contact information she was sharing before. Thanks so much for joining us today, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for us too. We'll hope to have you back again soon.
All right, awesome.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen again to get us set up for our next presenter. If you can believe it, we have another Amy. So coming to us this time from Oxford University Press, another longtime WiLS vendor partner is Amy, who, Amy, I'm actually not sure what you're going to cover today. So I'm just going to stop sharing and I'm going to let you take over.
That's perfectly fine. I hope you can hear me okay. I got a new
Yeah,
computer last week, so it's been a fun whirlwind. But
sound good.
I'm just going to talk briefly, not go into too much detail, but just kind of cover some of our upcoming Oxford bibliographies, Oxford handbooks, things like that, just to kind of let you guys know what's coming online shortly. So I will share my screen and hopefully share the right presentation because I have multiple up, but let's see what we can do here. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see if I can share that. And I don't want to share like us because that's weird. But you should be able to see. Let's see if you can see. It's let's see. I'm going to present. Let's see. You should be able to see something that says Oxford University Press highlights. I don't know if you can see that.
We do see that. Yeah,
Yay. Okay. It
we also
says
see
it's
that little
42.
pop-out window, but hopefully I mean, I don't think that's a huge deal.
I don't think that's a problem. Yeah. It says 42 slides. Trust me, we're not going to look at 42 slides today. I just want to really highlight some of the interesting new things that are coming online. So again, my name is Amy Kammerman. I am a trainer and customer service success partner with Oxford University Press. And this is just kind of some highlights that are coming online this summer that have already been published. And I'm going to scoot ahead through my presentation here because it revamped me to the beginning and I didn't want it to do that. So what I want to talk about is product highlights. So you should be able to see the slide that says product highlights. And I don't know if I'm going to take the 15 minutes, but I will talk a little bit slower if that helps. So this is just kind of a slide presentation we do to talk about what's coming online for library users, what is available through some of our resources and how we kind of create a research journey using our products. So if you're familiar with the research journey that we promote at Oxford University Press as a way of using all of our resources through the very first stop on your research journey where you're getting basic information, defining words, maybe really kind of gathering information about the subject that you're going to be researching all the way through to, graduate work where you are almost, you're pretty much considered an expert in your own field at that point. So we like to talk about that journey and how you can use Oxford resources through all of those. So that's really what these products that I'm going to talk about contribute to and aid with that research journey. So just to highlight a couple of things that you may or may not be familiar with, we have the Oxford Journals collection, it's over 350 titles. We have 13 new titles that joined this year, and it goes back to 1996. I'm not going to do a live demo. I'm just going to talk about it today. Sometimes I like to save the new demos when we have a lot of stuff to highlight. But this goes through really talking about what journals we have and how we create a peer-reviewed collection of these journals as a way to really contribute to that research journey. We also have something called the Journals Archive, and that is over 250 digitized back files. And these go back quite a long way. It says access to 1791. If a journal is so lucky to go back that far, we will have access to it through our Journals Archive. This is a separate subscription from the regular Journals subscription. So it's one of those things that if you're considering buying something with our journals, our current journals, you might want to consider the Journals Archive based on the subjects that your library supports or the departments and curriculum that you support. So this is an interesting way to kind of support that historical perspective versus a modern day perspective through our journal articles and publications. This is what I get excited about is our new modules that are available through our resources. So this is our Oxford Research Encyclopedia new modules that have just come out. Disability studies, gender and women's history, and migration studies. So these are all peer reviewed. They are all through our Research Encyclopedia's interface. And all of these are peer reviewed, edited. They have an editorial board. They are searchable. They are all online, which makes it wonderful for accessibility issues and things like that. So it is updated a lot quicker than print materials might be. So we can add articles and update things as needed. And you will be able to see those on the articles themselves as to when they were first published and when they were updated and reviewed. So we do have a review process to go through and look at these articles and make sure that they're up to date and current. And if anything changes within these topics, they can be edited and updated very quickly instead of having to buy an entire new edition or wait for a new edition to come out. These can be updated instantaneously. So these are new modules that are coming soon with our Oxford Research Encyclopedias. We have sociology and then science, technology, and society. So these are all, again, peer reviewed. These are new modules. So it is a new encyclopedia itself. It's a, there's a collection of research encyclopedias, and these are new edition or volumes that come out. And will be coming out shortly. And so these have overview articles. They provide specific ideas related to the topics. For example, the sociology one, has things about society, human behavior, and relationships. So you will find a way to look at the table of contents. You will find a way to search the content using our advanced search options. And we do have an AI assistant within Oxford Academic that allows you to ask questions in more of an informal way. It's only an AI assistant within Oxford University Press resources. So you're not going to be able to plug, your paper in there and check it for AI or ask the internet for something or plan an itinerary for a trip or make a menu. It is only a way to kind of make searching easier and more approachable within Oxford University Press resources. So keep that in mind. The other selection of coming soon that we have is our Oxford Bibliography new modules. I love Oxford bibliographies mainly because it really creates a wonderful introduction to the concept of bibliographies, the way that students and researchers can create them themselves and see kind of how they're done. But our bibliographies take it a step beyond by providing a little bit of commentary on why these resources are included, how they're included, how our search process was done. And it also gives a very good overview of each topic. So within marketing, you might find something for, international advertising or something like that, or consumer behavior. But it gives you a definition and a perspective on consumer behavior that you might not find with just a general bibliography of resources. This provides a lot more perspective, and they're written by the articles themselves provide a lot of information before you get to those suggested resources. So we do have editorial go through these bibliographies, update things. Everybody is an expert in their field, of course, and they're peer reviewed as well. So that's a wonderful thing about our bibliography. So the new topics are marketing and legal history, and those are coming soon. I don't have a specific release date for those, but within 2026 is what we're looking at. Oxford Law Pro is another collection of resources. I don't really spend a lot of time on Oxford Law Pro because it is so specific in what it actually covers, but you can look and see through the slide here that we do have the AI assistant rolled into Oxford Law Pro. I am not a lawyer. I am not a legal expert. I can totally go over these resources if you are so interested, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it is not something that everybody has or everybody will look at within their research journey. But I did want to include this slide just because there's different modules that you can see on the bottom, and that might appeal to very specific, paralegal and legal studies and law schools as well. And again, I think I went over this 3 months ago when we spoke last. Oxford Intersections is our new interdisciplinary program that provides perspectives on different topics from multiple angles. So this is one of my favorite ideas in curriculum, in research, in learning, is that interdisciplinary approach. So I'm always very excited to talk about Oxford Intersections and what we have coming up with those in terms of the topics that are coming into development and those that are already launched. So the ones that are already available include AI in society, racism by context, and social media in society and culture, as well as the newest released one called Borders. So these are all peer-reviewed articles that come from different perspectives of a topic. So you can find experts in the field of AI looking at computer science versus ethics versus legal versus creativity, all within this intersection. And I really find that a wonderful way for not just students, but researchers, at a higher level to kind of understand how different subject areas approach a similar subject. So I love this idea of kind of understanding how other people look at different topics. And you can see here on the slide, we have other topics in development, including climate, cultures of waste, disaster dynamics. They all have fun names: environmental change and human experience, heritage, culture, and knowledge, and gender justice. So those are some of the coming soon titles that will be available through our Oxford intersections. And these are all, you can buy one or all of them depending on your interest or your need. And I think that they really do provide you with a good perspective on these topics. So here's the borders did just get launched back last fall. So this kind of gives you an interesting perspective on what you would actually find here in those intersections. Themed sections include extraterritorial borders, culture and everyday life in the borderland, citizen belonging and exclusion. So those are some of the themed sections that you'll find within this intersection, just to give you an idea that it's not just, we're not just throwing a lot of articles at you. We do give you context. We do give you kind of a perspective on how to look at these topics and how to interpret them based on your knowledge base, where you are at in your research journey versus where you are in your comfort level with kind of understanding how other people look at socio-political issues, cultural issues, anything like that within that topic. And this is the new one that's launching this month. So it's environmental change and human experience. This one is of course, a multi-directional, interdisciplinary discussion of human environmental relationships. So you're going to be looking at things from animals to climate, disasters, food, land, water. Those are the theme sections. Pretty straightforward in terms of the titles of those. But these intersections are very interesting and can reach across curriculums. They can bring people together if you're working with an interdisciplinary program, any kind of introduction to a certain kind of research aspect of a discipline can really benefit from these Oxford intersections. And then gender justice, again, this is another newly launched interdisciplinary intersection that talks about gender justice, but it also talks about gender and education, gender and technology. So you're going to get a lot of different aspects that maybe you didn't even consider part of a gender justice kind of umbrella. You can really see how we've kind of divided it out with all of these intersections, and I really find them to be fun. And so then moving on, we have the Oxford Scholarship Online Archive. These are Oxford Scholarship Online titles. There's over 7,500 of them. You can download them by PDFs, chapter by chapter. There's a whole lot of things going on with Oxford Scholarship Archive, but they are really exciting for me. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I think I'm done with what I wanted to share, and I should have stopped sharing at that point. Did that stop sharing? I guess it did. Can you just see me now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And I don't know, I'm right on time, so that's fabulous. I don't know how I did that because I didn't look at my clock. But anyway, these are some great resources from Oxford University Press, and I just wanted to share kind of the good news about all those things coming out over the next couple of months. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Amy. We're very happy to have you here. And the timing's great. Our WiLS's Oxford University Press group is renewing right now. So existing subscribers are in the process of renewing, and now you know about some new resources. So if what you have seen today from Amy is interesting to you, please reach out to us. We'd love to bring you on board. Thanks again for joining us, Amy.
My pleasure.
All right, let me share my screen one more time to get us set up for our third presenter today. Joining us from NewspaperArchive is Michaela. Not another Amy, but we're still very happy to have Michaela here. Michaela, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can take over.
All right. Yeah, thank you for having me. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm set up right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
America's 250th?
Yep, looks good.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thanks so much again for having me today. As we all know, we are marking 250 years of American independence this year. So I want to talk a little bit about what that milestone actually means for institutions like yours and exactly how Newspaper Archive can be used to meet the moment. My name is Michaela Coleman. I'm head of sales at Newspaper Archive. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how our platform can help libraries support the massive wave of local historical curiosity that this anniversary is sparking right now. Today, I want to talk about three things: what's in our collection, how your patrons are going to use it this year, and why those two things matter more right now than they have in a long time. America's 250th is sparking a massive wave of local curiosity. Right now, libraries are seeing a surge in genealogy, civic groups are digging into town history, and educators are hunting for primary sources. Patrons are coming to you with questions that a basic Google search just can't answer. But to meet that demand, you need the right data. Newspaper Archive gives you access to over 17,000 publications, over 290 million pages, and over 10 billion index names spanning all 50 states and 48 countries. For Wisconsin specifically, we have 834 titles in the state, with the earliest dating back to 1818. That is deep, continuous coverage of Wisconsin communities through every major chapter of American history. But the real differentiator is that 85% of the content is completely unique to us. By bringing this into your library, you're offering your community a resource they truly can't get anywhere else. So I have organized today around 4 research applications we're already seeing libraries use right now, tracing how early generations commemorated independence in 1876, 1926, and 1976, comparing regional narratives, surfacing firsthand accounts of civic events and speeches, and supporting the genealogy surge that comes with every national milestone. Use case number 1 is centennial milestones. America has a long tradition of commemorating itself, and what's fascinating is that each anniversary was shaped by the moment in which it was observed. If you think about in 1876, the country had just come out of the Civil War, and how the South wrote about independence looked very different than how the North did. Those nuances are all in our collection. We have over 1,200 American titles active in 1876, including 78 Wisconsin titles covering that year. If you move forward 50 years to 1926, the country was in the roaring 20s, immigration debates were at their peak, and the question of what American identity actually meant had never been more contested. And then 1976, a year that many of your patrons actually lived through. The tall ships, the bicentennial minutes on television, the local fireworks, and the town square ceremonies that didn't make national news, but were deeply meaningful to the communities where they happened. We have that too from all 50 states. If you wanted to test this out in real time on Newspaper Archive, you can hop over to the advanced search, type centennial into the keyword field, and lock in date range to 1876. And then right there on the results page, you can use the filters on the right-hand side to narrow by state or city. This is an incredibly fast way to instantly compare how the tone of the celebration shifted from different regions. Use case number 2 is regional narratives. And this one is close to my heart because it speaks to something libraries do better than anyone else, helping people understand that history is not a single story. Independence Day meant something different in Milwaukee than it did in Kaukauna, and it meant something different again in the pages of the Nord Stern out of La Crosse, a German language Wisconsin paper, than it did in the English language paper across town. With 834 Wisconsin titles, your patrons can read what their specific community was saying on July 5th, 1876. They can compare how the Janesville Gazette covered the same national moment as the Kaukauna Times. For this type of research, the Browse by Location feature is a great place to start, where you can drill from country to state to city to the individual publication title. This is a fast and highly intuitive way, and it gives research an immediate visual sense of exactly what was being published where. Use case number 3 is civic events and speeches. I like to say that historical newspapers were essentially the live stream of their era. Every July 4th oration, every parade route, every local fireworks display, it was all reported in real time by local correspondents who were there. If a small Wisconsin town had a centennial ceremony back in 1876, there's a very good chance the local paper covered it, and an even better chance that we have it digitized. Presidential addresses and speeches from state officials were often printed nearly verbatim, which is an extraordinary primary source for researchers studying political rhetoric and civic identity. For this use case, I recommend starting with the advanced search again and using keywords like oration, jubilee, or procession, combined with a July date filter and the year of interest. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can add the name search and look for specific event names and speaker names. Use case number 4 is genealogy and community history. With every national anniversary, it brings a massive surge in genealogy. People naturally want to know where their family came from and whether they were part of the grander American story. With over 10 billion index names, Newspaper Archive is one of the most powerful tools available to help them do that. For America's 250th, we are seeing a huge interest in Revolutionary War lineage. Now, while Wisconsin wasn't a state during the Revolution, families of veterans migrated west in the decades that followed, and our earliest Wisconsin titles start all the way back in 1818, which gives researchers deep coverage of the state from its earliest territorial days. Your patrons can easily track DAR and SAR membership announcements, early settlement records, and obituaries of individuals who actually served in the Continental Army. The best part about this use case is how incredibly user-friendly it is for your patrons. They don't need to be master researchers. They can simply enter a family name into our search engine, add a qualifying keyword like obituary, death, or marriage, and lock in their date range. This is a completely straightforward entry point that yields immediate, deeply rewarding results for families digging into their roots. Now, I want to spend just a moment on the platform itself because it's designed to handle everything from quick local inquiries to deep academic research. The advanced search lets you combine names, keywords, exact phrases, date ranges, locations, publication titles, all in a single search with Boolean logic. That's a level of precision that most databases don't offer. We do have browse by location and browse by date options that give your patrons 2 different entry points into the collection, one geographic and one chronological, which is important because researchers come to a project from different angles. The tag and organize feature is something our institutional users love. Researchers can save clippings, tag findings, and build out their own curated collections over time. And on the administrative side, you get usage statistics that show you exactly how your patrons are engaging with the platform, broken down by date, publication title, and location, which is invaluable for collection development conversations and renewal justifications. I know you evaluate a lot of vendors, so I wanted to be straightforward about how we compare. Our competitors tend to skew towards major metro dailies, and when a big story breaks, every major paper covers essentially the same thing, the same wire reports, the same headlines rewritten a dozen different ways. What they can't offer is what the Kenosha Telegraph said, or the Marshall Chronicle in Michigan, or a small weekly in rural Iowa covering the same July 4th, but through the unique lens of that specific community in that specific moment. The local perspective on a national story. The events that never made national news but shaped how a community understood its own history. That's the content that makes historical research rich rather than just comprehensive. And 85% of it is exclusive to us. On scale, 17,000 plus titles versus 2,000 and 12,000 for 2 of our closest competitors, all 50 states, and American content back to 1736. And finally, we support that scale with a true partnership. Every single institution gets a dedicated client success manager, which is an actual real-life human being invested in your library success and not just an automated help desk ticket. America's 250th anniversary is a once-in-a-generation moment, and the research appetite for your patrons, whether they're local historians, genealogists, students, or curious community members, is going to be significant throughout this year. Newspaper Archive gives you the collection, the tools, and the support to meet that demand, whether your institution is building a commemorative research program, supporting a genealogy search, or simply making sure your patrons have access to the best primary sources available, and we're built exactly for that. If anyone would like to talk through what a subscription would look like for your institution or schedule a more in-depth demo, my information is on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to me and we'll definitely get something on the calendar and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Michaela. What a great way to frame a presentation. I think that that was super good. A great way to engage viewers and a really timely, of course, subject. So super cool. Thank you so much for showing us around.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, if you can believe it, we've come to the end of another Taco Tuesday. I'll share my screen again just to kind of wrap things up for today's session. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are going to be taking a short break from Taco Tuesdays here for probably for a few weeks. It's the time of year where we are really at our busiest in the cooperative purchasing service here at WiLS, with so many member subscription renewals and membership renewals happening at this time of year. So it's a good time for us to take a short break from our Taco Tuesday presentations. But it won't be that long, probably just a few weeks. We haven't settled on the dates yet for our next round of sessions, but I imagine they'll start in middle or late July. Thank you, as always, for watching and joining us for Taco Tuesday. Thank you to our presenters for joining us to show us some really cool stuff from their companies. All of these resources, of course, are available through WiLS Cooperative Purchasing, so please do reach out to us if you have any questions, would like trials or quotes or any other information about what you saw today. You can always reach us here at WiLS. The best way to reach us in the cooperative purchasing team is by email at coop@wils.org. That's coop@wils.org. For several sessions in a row, I've been threatening to actually put that on this slide that you're seeing, and I keep not doing so. So I'm going to work on that before we start again later this summer. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't even think I introduced myself at the beginning. My name's Jeff Bruner, and I hope that you'll join us for some more Taco Tuesdays later in the summer. Thanks a lot. Have a great afternoon, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, all.